Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Next week, Americans throughout the country will celebrate Veterans Day. In cities and towns and hamlets from which all of us come from, we will take the time to thank and to honor those men and women who have served our nation so nobly to protect our freedoms and to keep this country safe from all harm, foreign and domestic. Americans take a great deal of pride in their service to our country, and we must also remember those men and women who are today serving in active duty in harm's way throughout the world. I want to take this opportunity to honor two veterans who passed away this last September, who I worked with closely, who were community leaders, Charlie Waters and Earl Watson, both gentlemen who exemplified what is the best and the brightest our nation has to offer. Earl Watson was, or as many like to call him, Earl the Pearl, was a World War II veteran. After the war, he moved to Los Angeles, where he worked as a doorman in the famous Hotel Knickerbocker. Earl, though, was most proud of during a difficult time in our nation's history, during World War II, when segregation was still, in many places, the law of the land, that he could serve his nation. He wrote a biography titled Earl the Pearl Watson, Doorman of the Stars. But what he was most proud about was his service to our nation. Earl loved people, and he had a big smile and a friendly demeanor, eagerness to help those in need. And any time a veteran ever came to him or a veterans organization had a problem, he was there to be helpful. Earl told me when we were able to retrieve his medals that he had earned during his service to our country, that the most proudest moment of all the many things he had done in his life was his service to our country. Earl is survived by his wife of 71 years, Melba, and his children, Alan and Colleen, and grandchildren, Eric, Ashley, and Jonathan, who he was so very proud of. Another veteran advocate who we all miss in the San Joaquin Valley is Charlie Waters, who served in the United States Marine Corps during World War II, during the Korean War. Charlie, as he was affectionately known to by all, never ever stopped fighting on behalf of veterans. I worked closely with him for many years, from working to get recognition for Hmong veterans to advocating for the funding of the opening of the Veterans Home that we successfully did that provides residence to those who deserve it. As a matter of fact, in Charlie's last days, he was able to stay there. He was a true champion of veterans, not only throughout the Valley, but our nation. But he did not stop there, supporting the Veterans Administration Hospital in Fresno and providing support for their efforts, organizing and helping continue the Veterans Day Parade, which is one of the largest veterans parades in the entire nation that is shown on Armed Services television. And individuals. No problem was too big or too small as long as a veteran was there who needed Charlie's help. And therefore, we miss both Charlie and Earl very much for all that they've done and all that they exemplified in terms of honor, duty, and service to country. Charlie is survived by his wife, Kathy, and Charlie Waters III, Karen, and Jennifer. Mr. Speaker, we want to take this time to recognize those leaders who made a difference during their life in serving our country. They are both shining examples of those who always cared first and foremost for our nation. So as we celebrate Veterans Day next week around the country, in towns and hamlets and cities throughout the nation, we should think about all these veterans. We should think about the men and women who have served our nation today in active duty, and never ever forget to say thank you for their service to a grateful nation. I yield back the balance of my time.